Hello everyone, today we are going to do a bike build. I'm going to build the BMX bike from scratch, so it's pretty much all the parts are here. And we have to put it together, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I've done 2 bikes now in my life, building them from, so I think I know what I'm doing. But yeah, probably there's some things that I might do wrong, but yeah, if you want to build your own bike, that's pretty much how you do it. So the first thing, let's go over the parts. We have a sprocket here, Odyssey sprocket. We got, how do you call this? Seat post. We got a seat post from Colony because I like the color. And we have an E-clad saddle. Here we have the Odyssey R32 forks, so we will put those on as well. And here we have the Thunderbolt cranks. We have a nice little cap for the tires. Those are the 2 tires and those are the 2 rims. They're already pre-made, so we can just put them in and there it's done. We have the tubes here. Here we have an Odyssey stem. And here we have an Odyssey headset, which you also need. Then we have the pedals. We have the grips with the ODI grips. We have the chain with the chain breaker, of course. You need a chain breaker, otherwise you cannot put on a chain. So the first thing we need to do is put these things in. We have the packs as well. I ride 3 packs always, so we're gonna put those on as well. I still have these old hub guards. I only used them like once. So I'm gonna put those on because why not? They're metal, so they're gonna last some time. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need. So first thing we're gonna do is put these in here. We're gonna have to put them in here. But I'm gonna have to do that outside because I cannot be pounding it in and breaking the floor here. I don't think my girl will like that. So let's go downstairs and do it. Alright, welcome in the rain. It's not the best weather. Alright, here we have the mid BB we have to put in here. And you also want to keep every crankset comes with these things. This needs to go in the middle because then it will keep the cranks steady in one place. So first thing we need to do is put these in. What you want to do is get them out, and you want to use grease. So you can either put it on here or you can put it in here. We'll put a little bit in here. I always put too much, but I'll always clean it off afterwards. It's gonna be fine. So let's get a better angle of this. Also keep always a blankie so you can clean your hands every time. So hey everyone, I finally got the bars in. My girlfriend helped me because the thing was moving too much. But yeah, this is how you put them in. and then you can still rotate them if I'm correctly. So yeah, they still rotate. Yeah, if you have a device where you can put them in like turning, that's better. But yeah, I don't have that, so I do what I have. So we're not gonna back inside because it's raining, and yeah, we don't want to be in the rain. But I'm gonna have to use all these tools. Well, there's stuff that I don't need anymore, like the hammer, but I'm gonna clean this up and then we'll go back upstairs. So back upstairs, we finally have done that. So what I usually do is put on the tires first, because then you can like put it down upside down, unless you have like a clamp where you can clamp your frame. I think that's the best idea. So we're gonna put on the back tire first, and then we put on the forks, and then we have the front as well. Then we can do the saddle, and I always do the cranks as last. That's just me. It doesn't really matter what way you put it together, but this is just the way I do it. So the first thing what we do is put the back tire in, but we're gonna have to put the tire on, which is really hard work, and it's a struggle. So here we have the back tire with the cassette. So this one comes like this on the frame, because I always have it on the left side, because I'm left foot forward. For me, I always grind on the right mostly, so for me it's best to have it on the left side. But it all depends on personal preferences. Anyway, the first thing what we're gonna do, you can put on the pegs already, but I'm first gonna put a tire on there. So we got the inner tube, putting it here. We get a tire. So this is always something you have to keep in mind, because the profile of the tire is like this. This is the front, so you want to put it like this, because if it comes on this way on my bike, like this is my left, you want to put the tire like this, because then your tire will go forward like this. So that's always something you have to keep in mind. I've put it on wrongly. It doesn't really matter that much, but you definitely want to put it the right way on. And just by that, I'm putting it wrong. Just watch. But yeah, that's something so the first thing we want to do is put the tire on there. This is always a little bit of a struggle. Always a struggle. For me, at least. Because I want to, okay. First we're going to put on one side. So you can, what you can do is, you can put it on first, the entire thing here on here. Or you can like put like one side on here, and then you have the other side open. So that means that you don't have to like use a tool to get the other side over again, because unless you're really strong, it's gonna be hard. So we first want to put this in. This is always a little bit of a struggle. So there we go. So we have one side on the tire, on the rim, and the other side is loose like that. So we don't want to get the inner tube. So the first thing we want to do is put a little bit of air in there, because it's going to make it a lot easier to put it in there. Get a little bit of air. So like I said before, I'm not a professional bike builder, but I've built two in my life. So, oh, that's not correct. My thing is a little bit broken. Sometimes it just doesn't work the right way. But if it works, why change, right? So here we have a little bit of air in there. So now we're gonna put it on. So you wanna make sure where the hole is. So the hole for me is with the O from Odyssey. I'm not sure if you can see it. First thing you wanna do is get the valve and put it through the O. So first you wanna put in the tire into the inner tube into the tire, like that. Put it in normally, and then we get the valve and move it over to the, let's see if I can get a better angle of this. We move the valve into the O. So you want to make sure it's lined up correctly. You can still move it like this. Just have to be a little bit, there we go, see? Now we have it correctly lined up. And then you have to put it through the O, which is always a little bit of a struggle. But if you move into the back of the tire, you can easily maneuver it. Well, I said easily, but it's not that easy. Always struggling when I want to show stuff. Well, there we go. We have it in. See? This is how you do it in. Some people put on the valve cap so it won't go back out. I usually don't do it. I just keep pulling it sometimes. And now we have to do is, you can put in the tire onto the tire. Like that. Put it on there. And then all we have to do is put this side on there. So this is where you need a lot of force. If you have a lot of force, it's going to make it a lot easier. So I usually just start at one point, so like this. Just pull it in there. At the beginning it starts easy. You think, oh, it's not that hard. But then at the end, it will be like really hard. So like that. You can move it in there. There we go. We halfway done. Oh, here we have the hard part. Now you need a lot of force. This is always where I start to sweat because it's just hard work. And there we start already getting a blister. No. What I always do, I always make sure you just pull the tire onto the side, so you make sure there is no inner tube like sticking out of it. Because I notice when you inflate it, it can blow the inner tube. You don't want that to happen. So for me, it looks fine. I'm going to quickly check it everywhere. Check it. And there we go. It looks fine. And then we can inflate it. So I recommend you inflate it to almost like the max, so the tube becomes wider. Because it's like a brand new one. You want to have as much air in there as possible. So first I'm gonna inflate it a little bit, like that. And now we check to make sure everything is still working, going well. Because we don't want the tube to blow up in our face because it's gonna be really loud. So everything looks fine, the inner tube is going well. So now we're just gonna inflate it to 60 psi. Alright, there we go, 60 psi. I usually do 60, so that's what I always ride. So here we go. We're at almost 60. Alright, there we go. A little bit more, so the tube can expand. And then we remove the pump. And there we go. We have a new tire on a new wheel. So let's make sure I did it right. So yeah, it's gonna roll this way because this is here. So yeah, we did it right. So don't put it on backwards. I done that. Just looks weird. So I think we might as well just right away do the next wheel. Or shall we put it on first? Welcome back. It took me a while, but hey, they're on, so that's all that matters. They're hard as steel. No, I'm just kidding. Here we have both the tires. So the first thing we're going to do is put on the back tire on the bike. So yeah. So we want to put on the packs right away. Also, if you're putting a pack on, you don't really need this spacer. I'm going to show you real quick. Here, there's this spacer. I'm going to put a pack on here. You don't need this spacer anymore because the pack is going to act like the spacer, so just untie it. So for example, if you were running both packs on the back, you would also not need this one. So we just remove this. It's going to take a while. We don't need the spacer. We put on the hub guard. I do recommend riding with hub guards. Because otherwise you will destroy the hub real fast with grinds. So for the back there's always a bigger hub guard. This is a universal one which almost fits on everything. They're the Mission Universal. So, oh wait, I'm actually doing it wrong because there's not going to be a pack here. So we put on the back the spacer. We'll just take the spacer from the other side, doesn't really matter. My mistake. Like I said, I'm not a professional bike builder. I just know how to build a BMX bike that right, so it's good enough for me. So we'll take off this bolt, we'll take this spacer and put this one. Can I even remove this spacer? What the heck? Oh, Oh my god, it's like stuck or something. What? How is a spacer stuck? I've never seen that before. I need something like a knife, but I have a knife here. Ah, there we go. Why was it stuck? That's weird. So you put the spacer on which side you're not gonna run a hub guard. So if you're not running hub guards, you don't need the you're gonna need those spacers. So here, I'm just gonna not make it really tight because we still need to put it on the frame, and now we have the space easily to do it. So we put on the hub guard on the other side. There we go. And now we're gonna need a pack on this one. So these are brand new packs, Odyssey metal packs. I was right metal because it doesn't break that fast. And I don't mind that it doesn't slide as good as plastic. So here you have a little thing which comes with the pack. What you want to make sure is the hole is almost the same size. For me, for this one, it's the correct size for the pack. So if it's not the correct size, you want to put this inside. But like I can show you, I cannot use it with this back one. But on the front, I do need these ones. So keep those. You're always gonna need them anyway. All right, we put on the pack. And now we want to make sure you have this one, and you're gonna need something to tighten it. I have this tool here. So I usually always take this off first until I really want to tighten it really bad, because you're gonna have to do a lot of cranking if you. I'm just gonna put it in like this, and it will be fine. Let's see, is it actually fine? Yeah, just tie it a little bit so that it doesn't fall off. And we want to make sure we have enough space here because it's going to still need to put it in the frame. So there we go. Let's see if we can get a better angle of this. So here we have the frame, and here we have the pack on the one side, and the other side doesn't have a pack. So you put on the frame, and you will notice that you're like looking at it and you're like, it's not going to fit. That's normal. You're going to have to force it in. So you want to like squeeze this a little bit and pull it in. And then it should technically go in. Oh, it's not going in. Oh wait. The chain tensioner is out. Why are you out? Make sure they're in. Do it again. Now it's good. So here we go. We tighten it a little bit so that it doesn't fall out, but we're not going to tighten it completely yet because we still need to do the chain, and sometimes with the chain you have to like further the back end a little bit more than it's not right away on the right size. So depending on the chain you want to then do it tight. So we're just going to make sure it doesn't fall out. We're also not going to tighten it too much yet. So there we go. Now it's not going to fall out, but it's also not really tight. So we have the back wheel on. There you can see, we have the pack on there. And we're now going to move over to the front end. Alright. So now we are at the front. My GoPro is really hot. I think I need to open a window real quick. Front. The first thing you're going to need is the forks and the headset. The headset comes in here. So that's going to be important. We're going to take the forks out of the box. Brand new forks. Here you have a warranty. Keep those because if it breaks really quickly, you can at least get a new one. Okay, here we go. I didn't even need these things. These things you can use to get the tire over, but I didn't even need them. This is the compression cap, which you're gonna need. So just untie those. Not sure why there's a spacer, but you don't need that one. At least I don't think I needed one. I think you can use those actually. I think you should keep them. Because then you might have an extra spacer if you need for the bar, so that's always good. Alright, compression cap. The stickers are like really loose. I'm just gonna remove them if they're not good on there. So this one comes in here, but we want to make sure we have the headset first. So the headset you get in a way that is already stacked correctly. So you need those bottom and then the top. So I was kind of thinking, for my forks, you don't need these ones. This one is a razor, so if your forks doesn't have a built-in razor, you're gonna need that. But if it does, then you don't need it. So you can just take these out. You don't need those. As you can see, they raise up the thing. Kind of thinking, if I put like this spacer here, what is happening? It doesn't even go on. This freaking sticker is in the way. Can we get it off easily? Or will it be a big issue? I think we can get it off. Get it off, we don't need that. It's gonna get in the way. So, let's see. Oh, it's not gonna even go on there. So yeah, we don't need that. Put in this bearing. But what I always do is put a grease on a little bit on almost everything. There's a few things you don't want to put it on. So I'm putting a little bit on here. Just a little bit on the edges. You can also do the headset. But I'm putting it the right way on the fork, so just a little bit. Here we go. Put that in. Oh, so this one comes like this. So you put it like going down and it will fall into the razor, as you can see, and it can spin freely. Put it somewhere where you don't want grease to come all over it. And then we move over to the top one. Here is also a thing inside, but you want to keep that thing inside because it's gonna keep it nice and snug in there when the fork goes in there. So I watch so many videos on people building it, so I might copy some things. Not sure if it's the correct way. I'm not a professional bike builder, but at least I'm trying. So we also want to lubricate the inside here. Lubricate that. A little bit there. Don't overdo it. I see sometimes people overdo it, but you don't have to. Make sure there's a little bit in there. But I think I'm already overdoing it because I also put it on here. So yeah, now you can first put in the forks. Put in the forks. There we go. This one will go in there. And now you can actually set it down, so that's useful. And then we put the other spacer, which will come in this way, I think. Let me try. Am I doing it correct? I think it's this way, yeah, this way. And then you will put it in and you will notice that it will lock in place. See, there we go. And then we put on the dust cap, which also comes with it, which you put on here. I want to clean up a little bit of the grease. Too much is a little bit too much in my opinion. But I always clean it a little bit off. And then we put on the dust cap. Oh, there we go, dust cap is on. And now you want to put on the amount of spaces you're going to need. So it all depends on how high you want it. Oh, that was bad. That was not good. Don't do that. Is it still in there? Yeah, it's still in there. I wanted to move the bike a little bit, but it's moved like entirely. Alright, there we go. So now it's standing still. I have to put on 3 spaces, I noticed that. But I also like my bars really high, so it really depends on yourself. If you want them to be lower, you're gonna have to either cut it, because you do want, when you put on the stem, you want there to be a little bit space, because if you don't, it can't compress correctly when you're pulling it together. You don't want to lose headset, that's the worst that can happen. Anyway, this is just how I build my bike, and I've been riding for at least a year, so if you're doing my way, you can ride at least a year. So now we're gonna have to use the stem. Here we have the stem. Get it out of the box. Look at this beautiful stem. This is also for bigger bars. They're raised up a little bit more than normal small stems. I just like them. I couldn't really find them until I went to a German website and they still had them, so I rather bought it there. So they're first thing what we're doing is gonna untie these. So let's first untie these ones. You can easily do it like that. Not sure if that's actually necessary, but I'll just do it anyway. Just a little bit. Don't need to be a lot, but it just slides on easier then, so. There we go. There's the stem on there. Make sure it's centered. And now we want to do is, I think we should do the compression cap first. This pretty much pulls it together. So for me there's like not much space actually, which is weird. So I can only compress it like a little bit. But yeah, I think this will be fine. I'm just gonna compress and see what happens. So this is the compression cap, you pull everything together if you put it in. So we're just gonna do it like this. Oh, it's gonna move right away. Like that. That's good. Yeah, that's better. See, now it spins way better. And now we're just going to clamp it together onto the, let me make sure I've done this right. I don't want it to be loose. There we go, a little bit more tight. So, now we're going to clamp, use those screws, but you want to also put them in there. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. We're gonna put those back in there. Way too much, I know. But I rather have too much in there than not enough. So I'm gonna tighten it, but not fully yet, because I definitely want to line this up with my wheel. So we're just gonna tighten it so it's stuck, but not fully yet. Here we have the handlebars. I still need to cut them down. I always cut them down. I keep them like 27, I think, because I think they're just too big. You can put them like this first, so you can put in the screws. So we put on the clamp. Makes sense. Yeah, there we go. So we have to put it on like that. Also grease these screws because you're gonna need that. And then we put in this one here, this one here. So just tighten, but don't tighten. And we still need to move the bars. The bars are not in the right way. And when you really start to tighten it, you want to do like an X up. So for example, you do here, then you start here, then you start here, and then you start here. So you like equally clamp it. Otherwise it will just not be good for you. So we're just gonna not make it tight, but make the screws a little bit in further. And now you can actually already move it upwards, and it will pretty much stay in place. I don't know where I left my my measure. And you align these forks with the bars with the forks. It's what usually all people do, but it's really personal preference as well. But I noticed when I started writing like this, stuff just became easier. So there's a reason why a lot of people do it. And probably it just looks better. So I'm quickly gonna see, I think the bars are a little bit too far forward. I'm gonna move them a little bit like that. I think that looks about right. We can still change it later on. But now I'm gonna tie it. There we go. Be careful, you don't want to damage the floor. So we have it upside down, and now we're gonna put into the wheel. Make sure the wheel is going the same direction as that one. So for example, now I have the wheel wrong way around, so we need to do it like that. So there we go. Also make sure you do the same things here as you did with the back one, but now we're putting 2 pegs on here. This is actually female axle, so you have to be a little, it's a version a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same thing. So you just remove these bolts. They pretty much go inside. Tighten it. Make sure you hold the screw on the other side, otherwise you might not be able to get it in. I think it's in. Yeah, it's good enough in. Okay, now we're gonna put the tire on it. Definitely make sure the profile goes away, same way as the back one. So yeah, I finally got them on. Took me a little bit longer and I noticed the camera died, so it's on. So you can see the tire isn't, there's an imperfection in the tire, but it's not that big of a deal. I didn't really completely tie it yet because I never do, but we at least have a bike looking thing right now. Alright, the next part we're gonna do is, let's see, what are we gonna do now? Let's put on the saddle, I guess, right? Still have a few more steps to go. We need to put on the cranks and we need to put on the pedals. My camera has a little bit of an overheating problem. Let's hope it doesn't stop recording this time. But we have the seat post here. And here we have the saddle, which is an E-clad saddle here. Just inside this. And there's one more part that I'm forgetting, so. The grease in there. You need the seat clamp. I have my seat clamp downstairs, so I have to quickly go. So when I bought the frame, I got this little package with it, which is including the seat clamp. You're gonna need that. Ugh. I don't have a scissors here, do I? But I do have a knife here. Okay. Get the seat clamp. I don't need any of these because I ride brakeless. So it's gonna go on like this. Put it on here. Now we have the seat clamp, the seat post, which we're gonna put on here. Hoppa! There you go. Fits in right away. So now you want to make sure it's the correct angle. So for me, I like to do seat right tricks, which is something most people don't do. But therefore I always like it to be a little bit, because if I jump on the saddle, oh my god, don't do that. Let's try that again. So if I jump on the saddle like this, there's a way I can slip off and fall on the tire. It's just not gonna be good. I don't want that to happen. Let's see, did I find the screw? I think I did. So I kind of like my saddle to be like this. I think that's a good angle. Tight it a little bit and then you will really tight it now. Okay. Maybe I personally ride about four or three fingers. So I think this would be a really good one for me. Alright, let's tight that. A little bit more so it sticks. Doesn't stay in place yet. Come on, go in there. Still doesn't stay in place. It's still falling. Still falling. Now it stays in place, but now it's way too high. So now we do untie it a little bit until we can move it again. Yeah, there we go. So about 3 fingers, I think. 3 or 4 fingers. Let's do 4 fingers. Just makes tricks easier. Let's see if it's about straight. There we go. It should be about it. Okay, now we tighten it. But we still need to put on the cranks. And we need to put on the chain. So I have here the Thunderbolt, Odyssey Thunderbolt crank. You have a lot of things with it. But the first thing what you want to do is get this part. You're going to need this part. And we're going to have to put on the sprocket on here. So here we have the sprocket with a lot of adapters if you need those. Personally, I have the same brand, so you know when you buy the same brand of parts, stuff just usually fits. Even though my part fits, it does go on really, it's like really tight. You have to hammer it in. So there we go, we put it on. And you want to make sure that this hole lines up with one of the things that's supposed to go into. So as you can see, I can't get it all the way on. I need to hammer that on it. Dang it, I didn't even know I wasn't recording, but I'm not sure if I recorded this, but I got them on. You need to hammer it a little bit in so it goes on like that. Now I have a little bit of a struggle getting it on here, but I think that's because I didn't align them correctly. There we go, they're in. But I want to show you now. Sorry, it took a little bit. The middle thing wasn't lined up correctly. As you can see right now, it hits the frame here. So what you want to do is get it out again. There we go, now it will go easier. You have like little spacers that you can put in between. Do we still hit it? No, we no longer hit it, so that's good. And also make sure that the cranks doesn't hit the frame. So yeah, that's about, yeah, I think that's enough for me. It's not hitting, so I think this is fine. Whee! Whee! So now we want to put on the other side crank, which I will rotate the bike for you so you can easily see. So right now we're gonna have to install, so installing the Thunderbolt cranks are a little bit different than normal cranks, but it's not that hard. It's just gonna make your hands really greasy. So here we have this part. I have like a little cap for this, like a little dust cap, which we put on it. First I have to find it. Here we have a little dust cap. We put on the little dust cap here. There we go. And now we need to do the, so you have like this little tube thing here. Well, I mean this little sack, which is like anti-grease, I think. So you can put that on there. But I am actually already this little thing is really important with the Thunderbolt cranks. You probably wonder, what is this? We're gonna need to put this on. So you want to put it on like that, and then we have to season it. There we go, it's on. Okay, let's put it like that. Make sure it stays in. And now you're gonna have to put this on. So just, so here we have the anti-seasoning. We're gonna put that on. There's a little hole in there, see? But yeah, just use your fingers mostly and just put it on there. Make sure it's on every side. You pretty much make sure that the cranks stay in place. So the only downside I have with it is that I think most people use more spacers. And therefore, for me, it will be a little bit of space here, but it doesn't really matter. I never had any problems with that. So if you want to use more spaces, you probably can avoid that problem. But since I never had any problems with it, I don't really care. So here we have this stuff, which is really dirty. And now you have to put on the cranks the right way. So you want to make sure you put it on the right way. And you know when you put it on the right way is when, for example, you hold it like this, it should stay in place. If it falls down, then you know you put it wrong. So for me it stays in place, which means that it's correctly. Oh, the steering wheels keeps falling. Okay, now we need to use the compression cap. For the compression cap also, it says here on anti-season this also. So you could actually use it for a lot of things you don't want to get loose. So we're gonna do it also on here so that it stays in place. There we go. put it in. And now you're gonna tighten it, make it tight. Also make it tight, but don't over tighten it. I noticed that sometimes it's gonna make a weird sound and you don't want that. So we're just gonna hold this one and tighten it. And now you will notice that there is a space in here. Look, it's not doesn't fit all the way. So if you used one more spacer, I think you would avoid that problem. But for me, it doesn't really matter. They spin, and that's all that I care about. So if you want to make it perfect, you could use one more spacer on the other side, and it would avoid that problem. But that's just so we're gonna remove all that grease real quick because we don't want and if it sticks out like that, it will not matter. It won't break off or anything. At least as far as I read on the internet, it doesn't matter. So we now have the crankset on there, the pedals. No, we don't have the pedals yet. Maybe that's the next thing we do. Put on some pedals. So we have that fully. We got the pedals on. I think I did the pedals the wrong way. Look, that doesn't make sense. How did that happen? Well, I'm gonna have to take the pedals back off and put them on the right way. So I'm quickly moving downstairs. I noticed I did something wrong. I put the sprocket on the wrong side, so I have to go and change that. Stupid. I'm so stupid. Oh well. Good thing I didn't put on the chain yet. So we're going downstairs. I put it on the left side. I'm so stupid. On both bikes, by the way. Both bikes have it on the left side. I gotta change that up to the right side. And then we also have to change the wheel to the right side. So I'm kind of thinking I need to change this one up. You can, because right now it's correctly, but I have to go to do it to the other side. Because if you can see my bike, I always ride like this. So I noticed that one of my wheels that I got, it should have been right side driver, but it was a left side. But I was able to make it now that it's right side. You can tell if you don't want to make the same mistake I did. The only downside is now that the wheel is the other way around, but I can't really be bothered to turn it around. I don't think you will even notice that much anyway. At least that's what I think, but we'll try. Putting on the chain. Got the purple chains. It matches the bike. It's always better to have them longer than having to adjust them like later on again. So you put them like this, put it on there, you put them over here. This one comes actually under here and in here, so as you can see. So we want to make sure we have them long enough. So this is also, well, we already have a pin in here, which is great, because that's good. Now we only need to cut it. You can always adjust the chain as well. So that's why I have these chain tensioners. Let's see. Where do we get at? So we are right here, but it's not really nice. So I can't really like clamp it here because this is an open part. I need this part. So, but then I'm like wondering if it's not way too tight. But it should work. Well, I don't know if it works. Well, if it's really tight, it does work, but like I can't really make any more space. So maybe we need to do this one. Just we will tighten it later on anyway. So I think we'll go with this one. Oh wait, I can't even go with that one. I need to go with this one. So if I don't go with this one, I need to go with this one. No, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing it wrong. This, if I don't go with this one, I need to go with this one. That's like really big though. Like my chain tight, and it will also become more loose over time anyway. So we're just gonna get this pin out of here and just do this. You will feel it going. We'll just go to remove the entire pin. Normally you want to keep it in, but since I already have one with a pin in, I can just do it the entire way. But we'll get it out now. And as you can see, it's broken. I have the pin here. Never do this because now you can no longer use this part. Always leave a little bit in, but I'm stupid, so it doesn't matter. I mean, chains are like 8 euros, and when you need to replace it, it's really that bad. You're gonna do parts, I don't know. So let's go do this. I'm really not sure if I even get it on again if I don't leave it on. We'll make it work. Click it in there. You can. It will fit in there. It's just a little bit of squeezing in there. Click. There we go. It's in. Now we need to push the pin. Push this pin back into here. But don't do it all the way. So it's gonna be like this. You're gonna put this in here. And then we can use this one to clamp it. So let's go like this. Let's just get it out completely so it's a little bit easier. So when you align them, you want to push the pin. Usually, what is that? Oh, this is the underneath part of this thing. Don't need that. So when you see that your pin is almost the same as the other ones, you can then fully remove it. We make this one tight. There we go. We have one full chain. And now we have to go and put it back on. This is always a little bit of a hassle because you don't want your chain to snap, but it's also really tight. So let me check. So I got it on. As you see, but it's tight. But it does work. So okay. Now we want to tighten this. We need to now get the back wheel as good as in there as we can get. There we go. Alright. Het is heel vast met deze. Ja. We zien wel wat er gebeurt. Maak je bril. Wat? Maak je bril. Yes, thank you. Now we put on the grips. I like my grips long, so I'm specially cutting mine. So I cut this little piece off with a scissor. There we go. Oh, it's gone. There we go. Clean it up a little bit. And then we also cut this one. And we might as well leave this one on because we're going to put it on the other side as well. So we cut this in the middle. I think it's about, what is it? 4.5. It's gonna make a lot of noise. So, je kan er gewoon aan de top. now that you have the grips on there, we need to put in the bar ends. So these are those, and they're really easy to put on. Just smack them in there. There you go. It's gonna save your life. Put them in the other side. Oh, smack it. There we go. And that's how you put the grips on. And I already put the chain on, so yeah. That's how you build your BMX bike. So this one still needs to put a chain on, but I will do that when I'm not recording. But that's it. That's the bike. Still need to tighten most of the things because I don't always tighten completely at first build. But this is what it's like. This is my first, not my first, this is actually my third BMX build. So yeah, we're gonna go and finish up the other one and then we're fully done. I still want to clean it because as you can see there's a lot of grease on everything. Also on there we want to clean that. Make sure everything is tight. Make sure the handlebars are aligned with the forks. So here everyone, I just noticed with the order I got this really cool magazine. Kind of like a printed out magazine, but look at this. It has like all old school pictures on there. Look how cool that is. I always love looking at old pictures, also to get ideas for tricks. It's kind of like a nose press. It's a nose press. But look how high he's going in the nose press. I don't think I've ever done that high. Got some bikes, we got some fan life. Look, another one. Got the old school, where the old school bikes. This is actually kind of recent, I think. This is from Germany. I never really got into that in BMX in Germany, so kind of interesting. It don't look like Trey Jones. I think it is. What? I think it is because he's also wearing those shorts. That's pretty cool. It's like a dead animal. But look at this. What location is this? There's like a big freaking pool in the middle of nowhere. Did somebody made this into the desert? That would be really awesome. But also really hard to ride, I think. Because it's gonna be that hot. What is that? I think they're tearing it off so they can ride those rails. Ooh, that's a look back, I think. It looks really cool. Even his feet is off. That is crazy. Yeah, that's definitely Trey Jones. Look. He's such a good rider as well. Funny how they included him into like a German magazine, I think, or maybe it's a fans magazine. Look how cool is it? Ooh, that looks such a good spot to ride. Wow, what is that? Is crazy. I would never even dare that. Interesting. Pretty cool stuff. They're just like I like more of the look. We actually have a CD as well. It's the Fans of the Wall illustration, a Fans BMX video. It's pretty cool. We got this. I like it. Oh, it's from Fans, so it's not really German. I think. About skills. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this bike build, and I'll see you all in the next video. Not sure when it will be, because I cannot ride yet, because I'm still waiting for I have to wait 6 weeks, which is now the 4th week. So next week will be the 5th, and then the week after that will be the 6th, and then after that week I should be able to ride. I'm not gonna take the risk on riding too fast because I just don't want to bleed again. I mean, it's been 1 week without bleeding, and that's positive. So yeah, so really stoked on these bikes.